to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, everybody out there listening right now. I have a new slogan for the podcast.
No, I want to hear it.
Oh no! I'm trying not to get that drunk tonight.
Do you want to hear my new slogan for the podcast?
How many times did I tell you no?
So here it is. You ready?
No.
The Trinity Force Podcast. That's it. That's the slogan. There is no slogan. God, what you guys think? I actually had a slogan this week? Jesus Christ!
I liked the flourish.
I like the idea that you might
flourish there.
that you might have like a subtitle below the Trinity Force Podcast of just open and closed like shit. I can't
quotation marks.
Quotation marks. Just like you're just like, yep, that's it. It's just clearly nothing there, but it makes it look like you tried to start.
I did try to start because I actually do have a few. The Trinity Force Podcast, hung over since 2011.
That's not even good. That tells tells everybody nothing about our show.
It's perfect.
No, it's not.
Also,
all right. Well, you know what? 82% of the people who took that poll were they were wrong.
No, they were all right. I really liked Thallium's that he did, which was the Trinity Force Podcast, hopping up your LP like we hop up our beers.
Yeah, I
of course you would like that, and DeClaude also probably liked it.
It needs a bit of workshopping, but it's like I like that one. I didn't even see the poll, so I don't know what the other options were. I like it with a bit of workshopping.
The poll was the new slogan will be better. It has to be, or somehow worse.
We could also just go with the Archer reference, where the Trinity Force Podcast, the cumulative hangover would kill us.
That doesn't make so little sense.
If you've been listening to us since 2011,
Mitch's
you'd understand.
Cumulative hangover would kill the rest of us.
Well,
it's just a rolling kind of thing. I got to turn in my tab one day, and it'll just be absolutely brutal.
I have to take out another mortgage
on my like mind or liver, both.
I can make I could make some more shameless references if you'd like about livers.
Nope, I'm good.
Dom would like it.
I would. I like that show a lot.
Yeah, because it show's awesome.
Did you watch the most recent episode?
Nah, I'm actually on.
You want to just talk about this instead?
Yeah, that'd be great. We could just talk about Shameless. I'm on season 5.
Anyone else want to talk Westworld? Because we could discuss Westworld.
Westworld's so good.
Haven't started it yet.
I just finished it.
Need to get into it.
You've got time because the next season's not coming out until 2018. So
I just finished The Walking Dead, the half season premiere or finale. So I got time. I got between now and February.
Take your time.
Hey guys, this is essentially
this is a good show.
A TV guide where we tell you what shows are coming out with new seasons in the new year.
Yeah, and if they're good or not,
and what we want to watch. I mean, if we think they're good, that doesn't mean they are good, but we might think they're good.
Hey, if you fell off the Walking Dead wagon, I suggest you get back on it because the new characters are awesome. And it's made me like the show.
We're gonna keep going with this.
Oh yes.
I've seen one episode ever. How many episodes are there of that?
There's
let me see if
7 seasons, 7.5 seasons.
I'm so unhappy right now. I hate every moment of doing this.
Well, you know what we should talk about tonight is that if you guys want to support us and you love us, go sign up for patreon.com/TForce Network.
Wait. You introduced the show the way you did it, and now you're asking them to support us.
Well, yeah, because they laughed. They were like, "Oh, they're right. I should watch more TV."
He makes a good point. That was pretty much the worst sales pitch we could have made.
Yeah, I think instead what you need to do is backpedal a little bit and say, if you're currently supporting us, please don't stop.
Yeah, there you go.
If you haven't started supporting us and I know it's December, I understand money's really tight, so you don't have to support us this now. But when you got that Christmas bonus, maybe you want to drop $10 toward us. You can just go right to Patreon, and the moment you sign up is the moment your money gets taken out of your account now. So you don't have to wait until the first of the month to get those podcasts. So if you want that, you go give us $10 and cancel right away. You get all those podcasts. You just go download them. They're all right in the feed. Same thing with replay reviews, $25. Boom, just drop part of your Christmas bonus on us, and we will get a replay review out the door before the next patch. The good news is patch 6.24 is not going to go away until 2017. So we have plenty of time between now and then to do a replay review on this current patch. Now, speaking of patch 6.24, there is a mini patch for patch 6.24 that has come out.
Secret patch.
And we are going to
surprise patch.
Right. So, yeah, it was like a surprise balance patch. What they said is since they are not releasing 7.1 until 2017, they wanted to patch some stuff in between now and that next patch just to kind of give a little bit more balance in the game, air quotes. And so they have just hot fixed a bunch of champions essentially and one ability. So we're just going to quickly run through those before we get to our main topic because we wanted you guys to know that there is another patch out there and there are some hot fixes that are being pushed live. So
they're important. Like it sucks to have to do another like patch follow up type thing, but they're important and we got to touch on them.
Also, Cool Bard, I want to hear your riddle. And how about this? We will answer. You post your riddle now. We will talk about your riddle at the end of the show. By the way, if you guys aren't watching live, twitch.tv/TForce podcast. We played Camille on Monday. If you're wondering why there's only one episode this week, and we are going to start putting out. If we stream, YouTube is going to have like a compilation of that stream. I'm going to push our first one out tomorrow, and it's basically just kind of like interesting or funny moments that happened during the stream, and to kind of give you guys like a recap of what happened, and it's basically like a little mini 10-minute podcast because we just banter and bitch at each other for 3 hours as we stream it live. So let's talk about.
I'm really good at Rise. There should be a highlight of how good I am at playing Rise.
Unfortunately, I don't have your point of view.
The highlight.
That's probably good. It was
Rise on Monday is that we'll never have to play with you playing Rise ever again because I'm never not banning that champion if you're in a game with me.
Fuck with that.
Let's talk about Azir, who got some changes in patch. Do you want to call it patch 6.24.5 or something, or patch 6.24b?
Call it the surprise patch.
It's both because he got I believe buffs in 6.24 proper, and then in this little mini patch as well.
Yes, he did.
When was the last time Riot did a mini patch like this?
I don't think.
They did some hot fixes on some like really, really overpowered champions. Like I think earlier in season 6, maybe like towards the front end. But I know it happened.
The Skarner era.
The mage patch. I remember they did too. Remember they I think they changed like Brand and somebody else. They kind of like hot fixed some stuff.
Didn't they hot fix like Vlad and Swain?
Right.
Yeah, but they've done it. Like there's at least some precedent for it, and I guess.
No, I know there is. It's just
it was launch Xin Zhao.
Almost a year.
Launch Xin Zhao.
Like, nothing's been that bad.
Okay, so Azir. They have added some changes to his W, which is a rise. The soldiers. Remember they changed that last patch, patch 6.24 as well. The damage that it does, they do from level 1 to 8 has been unchanged. However, the damage from 9 to 15 has been increased ever so slightly. It was like 69 to 125. It's now 70 to 130. But the damage from 16 to 18 has remained unchanged. So it's one of those weird buffs where
they're smoothing out his mid-game damage.
Yeah, in the middle of the game, they're just giving a little bit more damage.
And that's mostly a response to the Rylai's nerfs. As we discussed last week, he was going to get hit pretty hard by those anyway. So this is some compensation balance.
Ivern, Trigger Seed, the power of the shield has been decreased. It was 80 to 240, it is now 70 to 190, and the slow duration has been knocked down again, down to 2 seconds.
I gotta imagine this will mark the end of any kind of support Ivern stuff that was going on. The only reason that was really working was because his shield was as strong as Janna's while having an even better AP ratio. Hers is 0.5, his is 0.8. But with the damage, I believe, got nerfed, last week, and then the actual shield strength itself going down, slow. Like it's to a point where, and the slow duration, the slow strength, like all that stuff, it's just sort of to a point where maybe everyone should just start playing him out of the jungle, like Riot wanted to.
Even the junglers were maxing E first, and I guess Riot is not a huge fan of that,
which I don't understand why.
Because the shield.
What, do they want him to max Q? Yeah, but so what? I mean, he's like, you got to max one ability. You're gonna max one ability no matter what. I kind of don't like this. We are saying you can only max, like you're gonna max the ability we want you to max. We're not gonna let the players decide
No, these changes aren't so much for don't max shield first. It's bringing shield back in line for the power spikes that he has.
It's confusing because that's what they referenced when they made this change. The first line in their rationale is trigger seed maxes are still pretty dominant, which leads us to believe that maybe they don't like trigger seed maxes, or maybe it's just that trigger seed just gives you way too much, and when you max it first, you have access to the survivability and the CC at a very early point in the game, and that's just too powerful.
I mean, if it's like the obvious max and it's so good, like why not? Like I'm okay. I'm okay with this, even if it brings Ivern a bit lower. If they then say, okay, well we'll put some power into Root Collar or into his W, like throwing it somewhere else. If this is that big nerf, but like his E was doing everything you've ever wanted it to, like. The Janus shield with like a pop on it too for damage and for slows is like what other shield does that? I mean, old Scion, current Scion I guess too as a pop, but this was way better in every way.
A bit of CC with it. So another change on this patch is LeBlanc. Last patch, her Q bounce versus minions was 120%. That got dropped down to 80%. It has now been dropped down again to 40%. So,
they did buff the damage, mind you, so that's not entirely like just complete shitter like amount of damage to minions, but it's taking away that wave clear. Holy shit, it's too strong.
Yeah, I almost feel like the changes to her right now are she's good. We don't want to deal with it. We're gonna leave that for our 2017 hangover, but like we just don't want to deal with it playing our own ranked games anymore. So let's just nerf her now.
They don't want a situation where she can like clear faster than Anivia with two skills that cost way less mana, I think is the main thing. And that was like the easiest clear of all time when you just W everything, you get the passive procs onto them, and then you fire 1Q and it bounces for every part of the damage, I believe, of Shadow Orb and the passive proc too. So you kind of have to remember that you're still getting that. Well, it's down to 40% on the Q. You're getting the passive proc off too, which is a significant chunk of damage that was moved around in her kit when they did this little rework.
Distortion damage as well has been dropped, so a little bit harder to wave clear.
W max. It's nerfed as you get up in level. It's actually still same level 1. It goes down by 5 per level at that point. So 25 is or 20 is the difference at max rank. So it's hurting that W max that you probably go for still. I don't know why the hell you go for anything else.
Fortunately, I don't think any of us are good enough LeBlanc players to really look at that.
Oh no, I'm as good a LeBlanc player as I am Rise.
Well,
so
that's
I will
great.
Show you
I know what I'm spending my bans on.
If I just get like so tilted from my teammates banning out the champions I'm shitty on. Oh no, I have to play Ari and Victor. No.
Well, Rengar is still Cancer out of the jungle, so they're nerfing his damage a little bit. Q Savagery damage per strike has been dropped by 5 at every rank, and Ebola strike damage has been dropped starting at level 2 on up.
Good. Nerf him more.
Keep nerfing.
Yeah.
I don't want to ban him anymore.
Champion.
Yeah, we got destroyed by a Rengar in the second or third game we played.
Do the second one. It's because you can't do anything to him.
Well, all right, he had a bunch of kills, and I'm still kind of upset. He's like, yeah, it's not fair because I can't react at all. It's like he has 9 kills. We shouldn't be able to react. We should die. We should die, and we should keep dying.
But so like, I mean, the other side, like, so fine, he should be able to kill me, but then him still being able to, like, I'm getting spells off, and then him being able to still just get out of that because he has a cleanse and a heal built into his kit. Like that's where I keep taking issue with this.
Yeah, maybe like cleanse and not the CC reduction part would be nice. Like just like making it more skill intensive. I know that like Rengar can already just kind of jump on and hit all the buttons and do shit, but if you have to add some like better not counterplay, but better reaction that he has to be able to pull off to get the most out of his kit, I think would be better for somebody who can blow people up.
It's probably. We'll talk about invisibility.
I mean, it's not like you don't have to be good at Rengar to do well on Rengar.
Sure.
So, I mean...
Just look at NA. Hey.
Whoa.
Well, let's talk about another invisible champ, because I kind of want to talk about invisibility later this evening if we have time after we talk about Camille a bit. So Shaco, there's some nerfs coming in for him. QDC, ability power ratio go down by 0.1. 2 shift poison is E, ability power ratio going down to 0.75, and attack damage ratio also going down to 0.75 bonus attack damage. So just nerfing a little bit of the power he receives from items. as well as the clone explosion damage has been decreased by 100, 150, 200 damage.
I heard all these horror stories about New Shaco when all the assassins were reworked, and then I never saw him. It's like at the point where I'm like, man, I better ban Shaco because he's scary. And then I never saw him.
I've been there. I've been on the receiving end of it. It is not fun. You don't think you can react with a Rengar? At least you get some kind of notification that Rengar is coming at you, and you can potentially prepare. Shaco, you get nothing. That you can't see that. You don't see the poof. You see nothing. Just you see a screen and a recap, and you can go, "What killed me? Oh, 2 shift poison and a crit because he came from behind me, killed me." Right.
So does he need his hallucinate to pop in order to kill you, or does he just auto attack you to death?
He just auto attacks you. He just crits you.
Okay.
Right.
Like they hit AP Shaco hard, and it's still like that's still really a really good ratio there.
Oh yeah.
Is it maybe because he's able to clear healthily and then gank with a good bit of damage early on? Like he's probably the healthiest like assassin jungler in terms of like getting to it or like just getting boxes down, can clear quickly and then go gank lanes.
Level 2. Just because he's not taking any damage.
He's not any damage, yeah. But is that why? Is that why he's so strong right now?
No,
because of that, or
it's because of invisibility.
It's because of invisibility. There's really nothing you can do to counter invisibility anymore. So somebody who can invisible as much as he can is automatically going to be able to kind of do whatever he feels like doing.
Yeah. For those who aren't like aware, he's number 1 like by I think a significant margin in win rate, and still being played 6% of the time, which is pretty significant. I mean, right ahead of Ivern, who everyone is agreeing is strong.
Talia getting some changes. I would say that Talia is making her way back with these. Threaded Volley, the damage has been increased by 10 to 30 going around, so it is now 70 to 170 damage. Ratio has been increased by 0.05, and the damage fall off. Rocks after the first deal 40% damage rather than 50%. So I think Talia is making her way back with these changes.
I quick looked at just how that damage fall off was going to affect things. At rank 1, Q actually is dealing a little bit less damage than it previously would have been, but starting with rank 2, it's dealing more.
Is that assuming you hit every rock?
Yeah, that's assuming. I mean, no, the fall off damage, I guess, is what I'm talking about. You know, so what is it? The second rock that you hit would be 40% less.
I mean, all of them are second through fifth would all be.
Yeah,
when you're talking about total damage.
No, I'm just talking about each individual rock. Like at rank 1, the second through fifth rocks are dealing slightly less damage than they are on live, or than they were prior to the hotfix. But starting with rank 2 of the ability, they are dealing more.
Yeah, it's the difference of 30 to 28 with quick math.
I mean,
like that's all it is.
Tiny.
Yeah, but I think they said it was supposed to go up for people building like more. As you get more AP, you'll get more damage, but you won't be as oppressive early. I think was kind of the idea. I don't know. I've only played against one Talia in mid, and since I've been starting to play it. And while she was annoying, it was just about like dodge her traps. You're done.
And when you played against her, she wasn't on 624 Talia either. She hasn't received any of the buffs yet, or 6.24B Talia. Finally, in this patch, Smite, the health restore, was 100 plus 10% of your maximum health. It is now down to 70 plus 10% of your maximum health. So removing a little bit of the healing that you get off of each camp.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see another nerf to that in the future too. Just because the amount of health you get back from Smite is so
significant.
Junglers
are too damn healthy.
Junglers were getting good at doing the drive-by Smite too.
Yeah. The Smite on way to lane just to top yourself off before you go.
Yeah, or you're running away. Fuck yeah, camp is up. Let's get some of that health real fast.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that got nerfed a little bit more. If it needs it, just because every camp now is giving you that health rather than just red buff.
What if it was like a not on kill, like you don't have to kill using Smite, but what if it was a
like
if you kill it, like if you hit a smite, if you smite like a creature and then you kill that camp, you get that health restore back. I know that's kind of like you just get absolutely fucked if you get counter jungled and they steal your.
I was about to say you end up using it.
Or maybe it just dies. I don't know. It's interesting to try to take away the free just stuff you can get from it.
You probably limit the champion pool that can play in the jungle without that without that additional health that you would receive if you have to kill the camp to get the health.
Yeah, there are some junglers who
maybe half
float at this very, very low amount of health, and without being able to get that instant smite heal off, they
I mean, even beyond that, like those same junglers are going to be the most affected by losing 30 health here, especially during their initial clear. You know, who do you have in mind as far as that goes?
Jeez, off the top of my head, what was that?
Olaf, who loves being at low health, has and Dr. Well, Mundo's probably not played that much, but just thinking of championship benefits.
You wouldn't have to worry about the Olaf thing. Would just mean that you might be able to get ganked a little easier right off in the early, but geez, off the top of my head, I can't really name. I haven't been playing jungle that much right now, so yeah. But
any of the junglers we're seeing now are probably not really affected by this health change all that much because they're already healthy because they have some kind of healing or they clear quickly without it. So we're just kind of talking B tier junglers that might not clear as quickly and need that a little extra health to be able to gank.
I could see Wukong being one of the ones that would, because he's
always
super low.
Definitely
B tier junglers, right? Like the Wukongs and
honestly,
that's almost the wrong type of nerf to do. I mean,
well, and this is gonna make the jungle harder for people that weren't already amazing at jungling, because anytime you're taking more damage or you're not getting as much health back, like that will raise the skill cap in a setting where for the most part you only have to worry about not screwing up against monsters and maybe getting invaded, but it's just going to be harder to optimize exactly what you're going to, unless you know exactly what you're doing, exactly what you're going to do in the jungle.
Junglers are strong, and junglers are strong, and there was a lot of perception though that things were kind of in a pretty good spot after the last set of balancing. Do you think this is overboard?
There's no way this is overboard.
That's why I'm saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another nerf to this, just because the amount of health that you were getting back was so significant that it on the people that barely needed it, they were never running out of health.
I agree. Like, it was too good for, I mean, basically after the initial set of clears for certainly all of the top champions and everything. My concern though is that this sort of pigeonholes. This pigeonholes basically who will work in the jungle right now, or who will be regularly successful outside the most skilled players, the most skilled one-trick ponies.
I don't think it'll have that big of an impact. 30 life. I mean, that 30 life is usually not the difference between killing and not killing a camp. So it just makes them just a little less healthy walking out. It makes the junglers. It doesn't make the junglers have to really play that much differently. It doesn't really change junglers. It makes some of those bad junglers a little bit worse. Like, I mean, it's only 30 life, and the only time that 100 plus 10% max of life really mattered was probably the first 5 levels. And I'm being generous saying 5.
This just matters more. This matters more for the people who aren't kiting minions appropriately out of the jungle, or just don't clear in an optimal way.
Who right click and then go look at what's going on in lanes or something instead of paying attention to what they're doing?
Well, no, I mean it's maybe it's going to be more of the people who move but they don't optimize their auto attacking between moving, and they're taking that one little extra hit here and there. You could get away with fucking up and doing that when you were getting an extra bonus 30 health, but every time you're taking any little bit of damage that you don't need to be taking, you're going to end up, like, again, this is going to be a cumulative thing. The people who already were having an easy time clearing the jungle are still going to basically have the same ease of clearing the jungle. This is just going to make it so that if you screw up, you might not be able to go get that gank off that you were before, because now instead of being at 3/4 health when going to a lane, you might be closer to half.
Well,
it's going to be slight, but it basically depends on your skill level as a jungler, is how much you're going to notice this.
And probably the majority of people playing won't notice it. So it's just something to realize you might not be as healthy as you think you should be. But I can see this conversation is boring the fuck out of Punchinello, and he'd rather talk about Camille. So
yeah, actually, we should touch on the Teemo bug fix, because that got a lot of attention in our Discord.
What was there? I didn't see it.
It doesn't proc. He used to proc Thunderlords based on,
Right.
what was it, one dart?
Toxic Shot would proc Thunderlords on tick. Every tick would count towards a Thunderlord's
Oh
proc.
no, you can't get free harass anymore off of something that you've something that's passively ticking.
That's
That
a
is the
good thing.
worst.
You shouldn't be able to proc Thunderlords
Right.
off of
How
that.
long was it
It's a
doing
Dubin.
that before 6.24?
It was like Twitch. Twitch's poison used to proc Thunderlords off of
You
the
would
ticks
get
and shit. So
a Thunderlord's proc just for autoing once. That's so annoying.
right. Yeah,
It's dumb.
I don't care how much you want to bitch about this and how bad this makes the champion or whatever. It shouldn't be an interaction in the game.
I think
I
it was
don't like
introduced in
that.
6.24. That's the first time I ever heard about it.
Okay.
I can't
then
see
that's
it
fine.
lasting a lot longer than that because people would have picked up on that.
I'm sorry, Discord users. I mean, you're allowed to bitch about it as much as you want.
Your
You're
fun
allowed
is
to be-
wrong.
Yeah,
No,
you're
I
allowed
haven't
to be
seen
as
anybody
bad
bitching
about it.
But they were very excited when they discovered it. They're
Oh.
like, Frostbite. He's the Teemo lover, so he's going on about, hey, now Teemo's even stronger, so I can just go in top lane and then auto somebody once and proc Thunderlords. This is great. This is the best thing ever.
I have a theory about people who play Teemo,
Mm-hmm.
specifically like the podcasters, right? That these people that are playing Teemo right now are the people that have just given up on trying to learn how to play any kind of champion, and
Are
they
you
just decide to go back
besmirching
to Teemo.
The mechanical skill required to play Teemo.
I mean, there is some mechanical skill required to play Teemo. I'm not going to say like Teemo is easy to play by any means. I just feel like this at some point they just give up on life because
will say
everything
that-
hasn't gone right for them. The podcast ends,
This is very
their
morbid.
girlfriend breaks up with them, their dog dies, and they decide to punish themselves more, so they play Teemo. That's my
Teemo-
theory.
Man.
Thanks.
I don't. I would say Teemo is one of the champions that sits in that spot where and Singed is in this same boat. The skills required to get very good at that champion do not translate well to 90% of the
else?
other champions in the game.
I really, really want our slogan to be that entire rant that Pone just went on. It's just a very long, like, paragraph of talking shit to people who play Teemo
Did
and how they're
your dog
about their
died?
lives.
Your girlfriend broke up with you? Your kids hate you? Play Teemo!
Yep. See, that seems like a much better indication of what this podcast is about because it involves League of Legends, A, and B, it talks about just sadness. Wait, that's not what we're about. But I'm drinking right now, so.
The Trinity Force podcast, the Gragas of podcasts. There's something there. I'm working on that one. Hold on, that's a work in progress. I'm trying. Okay.
Okay.
Stop
Keep working.
trying.
Work on it off air.
There's not something there.
Yes, there is.
Camille.
Something about like popping. The
Hey, how about
flask, we get
Camille? If we
drunk.
just talk louder than him.
No, wait.
Camille!
Yeah, we could drown
Camille
out
Punch and
Dark.
Sean
top the
want to talk
court
about Camille so
of-
bad.
I know.
There's something here. Anyway, yes.
Punch, how many games of Camille did you play this week?
2 games.
All right, I
I'm a
played 3.
master Camille player.
I will say, when you're doing really well on her, you do feel like a master Camille player.
I'm gonna get a
She's
beer
pretty good.
while you guys
She's
talk
pretty
about Camille.
good. However, I have a history of hyping champions like Kled. Like
Yeah.
the episode I came back and I said Kled was the best champion ever, and he is. But since then, his flaws have been revealed a little bit. So I'm hesitant to say that Camille is super overpowered, but she's pretty good.
She seems pretty good.
Hey, real quick interjection. Did any of the three of you guys start the Skype call, and can we kick Adam off of it while he's gone?
No, he started
He
it.
started it.
All right, never mind.
For
Go,
the
keep,
slogans.
carry on.
I mean, it would. We could just cancel the call and then he's
We'd
just
lo-
streaming
we'd
to
lose.
nobody
Everyone's
and comes
soapbox
back,
streams
and
too.
the stream and everyone would be like, "What is going on?" And it'd be
Hey,
great.
chat, don't talk about this right now. Just all right, cool, we're back.
All right, business as usual. Yep,
Mhm.
Camille, pretty good character. Yep.
Yeah,
You're a high champion in League of Legends.
Yes,
she
she
is
is.
one.
regardless of whether or not Camille turns out to be super powerful, or people are just bad at playing against her right now and she turns out to be middle tier, bad, whatever, that champion is fun to play.
Yes,
I think that's really important.
that she's fun to play.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
they've
definitely.
released champions that are like, oh, they're good. They're just like it's not that fun
It's
to
just-
play.
Right. A lot of people don't pick up on them, and then there's usually the champions that kind of fly under the radar for a while, and then somebody figures out, hey, this person's really good.
Well,
Like,
the
it seems like Ivern was like that.
the challenger players are already learning that Camille is really good. They didn't even take them time to figure that out. It's just she has so many perfect windows to trade with the player and win that trade because of the way her abilities
Her-
scale and the way her
it's-
abilities work. And not
her
to
ability
mention,
to trade, her scaling is good throughout. I mean, she has a pretty smooth game over the course of the game. Nice true damage for when you want to do it. If somebody doesn't need to get hit by true damage, you get 2 auto attack resets just for pressing a button.
ridiculous.
She has a lot going
problem?
on for her right now. And I think I told you guys this, but when you play her, it's a lot like the feel is a lot like playing Jax mixed with Fiora. You just with crazier mobility, and you feel like a superhero zinging around and doing a bunch of damage and basically hunting down anyone that you want to hunt down. And the cooldowns early might feel a little long, and her W might feel a little wonky when you use it, just because when you have the W priming up, you can't really do much else other than E. But by 4th item, by 2 CDR items, by the end of the game, your E, your dash, and potential stun
Oh, it's always
is on
up.
a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is crazy.
And comes part of the problem and why she's so good, because her cooldowns end up getting too low too quickly. Like there needs to be some compensation.
Particularly
in here.
E and Q. Yeah. I never got the Fiora vibe with her. Maybe it's because of how I'm building her, but like as I was playing Camille, I did T-Force in a tank basically, and it dawned on me as I was playing her, this is Tank Echo all over again.
For what it's worth,
I do a lot of damage. I have a ton of mobility, and it's really hard to kill me.
For what it's worth, that's basically the winning type of build that's going for her right now. It looks like.
T-Force.
I mean, this is analytics, and I like how up to date their data is, but we do have to keep small sample size and everything in mind. But it's definitely T-Force into just all the typical tank stuff. And by the time she gets to Sterix, all of a sudden you apparently it's a 63% win rate.
Yeah.
If you get that as your 3rd item, it's unbelievable. And if she gets to 4th item, it seems like you basically should be winning the game. It seems like she gets better and better and better and just becomes a true terror the longer the game goes on.
It isn't just that T-Force is really good on her. I screwed around building T-Force. I screwed around building Blade of the Rune King. I screwed around building both. I screwed around with a bunch of different stuff.
too.
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking that because her wave clear in the mid is so kind of meh.
Yeah, that might be her one weakness.
Her Ravenous Hydra as a 2nd item is close to a 60% win rate.
I'm not surprised by that at all because
but that's pretty insane.
Yeah, she needs the wave clear, but her Q cannot crit, which is a good thing, because if it could, it'd be bonkers insane. But because of that, and because again your Q basically gives you 2 auto attack resets, one of them doing true damage if you time it right. I really like the on hit from Blade of the Rune King on her, and Sheen is beautiful on her as well, because it almost syncs up perfectly between the times that you can use your Q to get the Sheen procs off for it.
Somebody mentioned on the first episode you guys did on her that she's got the 2nd highest base attack damage in the game.
Yep. Oh god.
So how could you not get a Sheen?
Yeah, it's amazing, and my favorite build so far is the T-Force into almost full tank. You get to this point where you shred almost anybody you feel like, and then you're so tanky that if they decide to fight you, you're just sitting in the middle of their team while your team is cleaning up stuff. And if things get bad, you just get out because you can.
Well, yeah, to go back to E for a second, it makes a lot of sense to go with that tanky route because of how much power is baked into E, right? We already touched on the really low cooldown. That's a really low cooldown with a very large range that doubles when you attack into somebody, which has a stun and a scaling to 80% bonus attack speed and some pretty decent damage with the 75% bonus AD ratio.
You get so much free stuff.
It gives
just for
so
picking
much.
Up.
Right.
Yeah, it's QE max right now, but I think for the health of this champion, what they'll probably end up needing to do is maybe move the attack speed to her W.
I think that might change a lot how she plays.
I think it would too, but because of the issue of all the cooldowns, it is a problem when
Health-wise, I see what you mean. Because,
Yeah.
like, I never wanted to use W. If I was within auto attack range of somebody, I never wanted to use W.
Well, you
W is
should-
only to disengage or chase somebody.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, W is more of like you've already blown something. You're waiting on your E cooldown to pop up. You're not in range of them to use your Q on them yet, and you're sitting in this weird zone of not being able to get to them, but still wanting to be able to do something. That was the only time you would want to use W, because if you pop W when you're in melee range of them, you are not auto attacking them and you cannot Q them.
Yeah, it's a waste.
So you're sitting locked into an animation of 2 seconds that you can't do anything else other than prime up her leg sweep, basically. What's the
Tactical sweep.
tactical sweep? Hey, look at that, it was close. That ability feels wonky. It doesn't. If you land the slow on somebody, they get so slowed, and it's one of those slows that as soon as you land it, you're like, oh, you are so screwed because there's no way you're getting away from me now. I don't like how the ability feels to use, and for whatever reason, and maybe it's just me getting used to the champion or whatever, I felt like there were a lot of times where people would feel like they were in the range, or you had just moved into the range of the sweep to get the slow off, or whatever their hitbox was just slightly inside of the small area that doesn't slow, and you don't hit them with it, and you're like, they're huge, and I didn't hit them with my slow. I don't understand what's happening.
I agree. That was weird, but I think a lot of that just has to go with getting used to the champion too.
No, and I think I definitely think that's a part of it. I do not like how W feels. I love this champion, and I love every part of her kit except for that. And just her ability to pop her E as often as she does, considering she's maxing it second, and considering she gets so much free attack speed from it.
Yeah. Q, E, and R are very smooth to use, and they flow well together. And then W
doesn't.
feels disjointed. Again,
Yeah.
it's like I never wanted to use it when I was fighting somebody.
But because of that, like, you can just put your W is your 1-point wonder, and that's fine to have a 1-point wonder or whatever.
Yep.
But otherwise, I mean, W's not that great. It's not like you use it for wave clearing because it doesn't hit very hard until you put a bunch of points into it. Your E,
the wave clearing aspect, I did try leveling it first for
just to see?
for science. I was playing against a Darius my first game. I was like,
science.
okay, I'm not gonna go toe to toe with
burn
Darius.
all,
My
yeah.
first time playing this new champion, so I'm just gonna max W and see if I can get some sustain and wave clear. Right, can try to control the wave better. And at no point maxing W first was I able to even
without items, maxing W first. Like, you could have 4 or 5 points in W, and you're doing a third of the caster minion's health with
right.
it.
Yeah, you could not one shot the caster minions at any point. It was a complete waste.
I
Like
mean,
this,
it's
it felt so underwhelming.
It's a tank buster ability more than anything
See, you
else.
say that, but it doesn't feel like a tank buster ability.
No,
either.
I'm just saying, like, that's the only, as far as from a damage standpoint,
Yeah.
that's the only reason that you're going for it. Like, you're totally impairing the rest of your play.
Say what you will about that being a tank buster. You know what else is a tank buster?
True damage.
Yes, that's exactly right. So there's
So,
no.
and I
point
think
in
that's
using
what they're
W
going to
over that.
hit, because to turn all of that damage on precision protocol into true damage if you time it properly, and it doesn't seem like it's that hard to time it properly.
It's not, and it's because of Riot did a really, really good job in adding a nice audio cue for when exactly to hit your Q to get the true damage.
Gene, sparkle.
Yeah,
I like that. I like it.
No,
when
it's
they do that
super
type of stuff.
super nice because you can actually watch your champion instead of having to watch the tooltip. You know exactly when you can use your ability, and you don't have to be like that. That's a super nice. It feels good when you're playing a champion to be like, okay, I use this ability, I get to use it again. I don't want to just, I'd like to pay attention to the fight rather
Right.
than watching this 1.5 window that I have to not fuck up. And
It would be nice if they'd add something like that to Kassadin.
yes,
I mean, and there are other champions with similar mechanics, but that's. I'm really glad to hear that they did that. That's a easy thing to
it's a
retroactively do.
really
and
refreshing change to see something like that on a champion. It's super nice, and my first thought when I read that ability was like, I do not know, like, this is going to be one of those things that's going to be very difficult to get this down if there isn't one of those, if there isn't a big audio or visual cue, and they did both for you, and that feels really, really good. That being said, her Q is way better at tank busting than her W is. Her
Probably.
W doesn't feel good, and it isn't just that her W doesn't feel good, but even if you land it well, the only thing that feels good about W is just how much it slows when you land it well.
Were both of you basically going Trinity Force into Sterix and tank items with like a Ravenous or a Titanic Hydra? At some
I did
point?
not get.
Were you at any point were either of you like stacking heavy amounts of attack damage?
I screwed around initially in a bot game. I screwed around with a bunch of attack damage just because I wanted to see how crazy I could get things, and it's a bot game, so I don't want to use that as really a reference for anything else.
You killed those bots dead.
Yeah,
They didn't
but
stand a chance.
I mean, for instead of just going a bunch of attack damage, I didn't want to buy anything with crit on it, or go too crazy with anything with crit on it just because Q can't crit. So why am I going to buy something that's an auto attack reset that's not going to crit? I'd rather focus on something that has some on hit specialization to it.
I mean, her
yeah.
Q screams Sheen.
Well, and if you play her, you'll scream Sheen because it's beautiful. The interaction is great and it's perfectly set up for it. The combo I was going was kind of the traditional old school Jax build, and just because of the team comps that we were running into with a Graves pick and the Rengar pick and a couple other things with all the crits that they were getting, I was either second buying Randuin's in 2 games, but I usually went like T-Force, Randuin's, Deadman, either Randuin's or Deadman's, whatever for boots that I felt like going depending on what we were playing against. I got a Spirit Visage just because I did buy some lifesteal with a Blade of the Rune King at one point, and it was really nice just because you get to hit so often with it. You can get a bunch more health back.
So the only reason I bring up stacking a bunch of AD is because W and E, but specifically W, they both scale off only your bonus AD. So if you're getting that, the Sheen bonus, you're getting a little bit from, I guess, Trinity Force and everything, but you're not getting any of that bonus AD from buying Sterix, because that technically increases your base AD. And as a result of that, like, tactical sweeps damage is always going to feel underwhelming. I think, hookshot.
There is, for an ability that has the cooldown that tactical sweep has, and the fact that it locks you into the animation of using it during the entirety. At the moment you choose to use it, you're not canceling that animation unless you die. I mean, you can pop E to move yourself and do stuff, but you can't auto attack and you can't Q during it. So
like E not scaling off of a total AD, I guess, doesn't seem like a big deal to me, because while the damage is nice and everything, the reality is you're just using that so you can get in and Q the shit out of somebody.
Yes.
Well, okay, so like a bonus AD build on somebody like Camille, any kind of top lane fighter, while on paper looks awesome, for obvious reasons, it's just the way the pace of the game goes currently that you don't have time to. Your window of opportunity to use that extra bonus AD is outweighed by the fact that her abilities scale so well naturally that you can just pick up something. She can just pick up something that just amplifies her
what she's already good at, and it's going to make her
tank.
tankier, so she's has more utility for the team because she's not dying right away.
She can be more free will with her hook shot wall dives, which it feels like a waste to go full AD and then to be really stingy with her E. Like, well, I can't just dive into them because then they'll just blow me up. Whereas if you're a tank, you can just dive into them. It's a really effective initiation.
You can dive into them to initiate, to chase down, to do whatever, but you're also tanky enough so that when that 6 seconds is up and you have your E to use again, you can walk away like nothing ever happened if stuff went wrong.
And we're not even talking about the passive at all in the use of how much use you get out of that. And this kind of goes back to the conversation.
Scales off of maximum health.
Right, this kind of goes back to the conversation we had weeks ago about ignoring or resistances working with shields, and the fact that you're getting a shield based on the type of damage that's coming into you, which is compounding on top of the resistances you've already built. So you're getting even tankier just thanks to having a passive.
Because you're there.
Right.
I had a question for the two of you who played her, because we kind of touched. We've been mostly really talking about her like abilities, but like I think what's unique about her is I can't think of a champion right now besides maybe Darius in any lane that dictates their lane and the fighting so much than Camille because she's able to, first of all, get move speed after she Qs, so she can either get into better range to get the second Q, or if the target runs away or she needs to run away, can start her W. She can also then get, she can choose when her shield comes up. She can choose when she dives in. She can fake that out too, and she can dodge an ability, like even a targeted ability with the jump of her ultimate, which I think is like, it's so much stuff like built in. That's not even discussing the healing. That's part of it. The percent health damage, the true damage, even just the first four things I mentioned seem like you could just dictate the hell out of top lane. And once you know how to play her, how the fuck do you stop that?
It's not just the ability to redirect and move around. You get to zig and zag. So yeah. It's one of those things where it's not just that you have the benefit of being like, okay, I'm going to move from here to like from X to Y that they have to take into consideration while I'm moving, but then I can just immediately go to Z and throw another wrench into the whatever their response is as well.
Well, my first thought is that like all right, I'm thinking of like the worst case scenario where you mess up your E and like you miss hitting them and now you're in a bad position and maybe they can trade favorably. Mm-hmm. Instead, you can auto queue them or just
run away.
Queue, and then you have the move speed to run away and start your W if you have that move speed. Like what do you do?
TLDR
like,
champion is broken.
She seems like she seems like the dueling power of Alawi when Alawi has her shit set up, but without needing to set it up.
Right.
And that is crazy. I think that like they don't need I don't think they need the healing. I think that's stupid. I think it's very good for her. I don't understand why you need that when you have everything else already baked into the kit, but I guess they needed another passive on it.
The healing on the W doesn't feel that significant, but any healing is
it doesn't feel significant to you, but it's the type of thing that everybody playing against her notices.
Yeah,
well, I think the funny thing is it's like it's like if you're talking about like late game, if you're doing 8% of a target's max health, like and you're hitting tanks with that front line, you're just using that as like I'm gonna heal up but also peel. Like why do you need a slow and a heal? I think that's like I know it's not tank busting in the sense that it's gonna do a lot of damage, but I think you're gonna get more healing than you'd expect out of it. Because of that, because it's based on the bonus damage as opposed to like a ratio or like a flat amount. I don't know. I don't know how you balance this, but I don't. I love the concept. Holy shit! I think she is going to be way too strong. And as you said, if the pros are already doing well with her, and that's like that doesn't happen that often on champion release. Usually, there's a bit of a learning curve. This is apparently just already skyrocketed.
She is pretty straightforward too. I mean,
yeah,
everyone that looks at this kit knows how she's going to play. It's not like, gee, how should I use E?
It's one of those things where the skill floor is pretty low and the skill ceiling's crazy high. But because of that, for the most part, anybody who can pick it up and get a feel for her should do pretty well. But if you know exactly what you're doing when you play it, when you're playing her, the opponent's going to have a very bad time.
To go back to that laning phase aspect, so how it should work is if she misses the E, that means she misses the stun and the bonus attack speed. So she should automatically lose the trade, especially if she's going into something like Kale, right? And Kale dodges it. And then Kale Qs her and then auto attacks her with E as she's trying to disengage. So that should be the win condition against Blade Legs. However, since Q is so powerful right now, I feel like maybe that's not enough. Because she get that movement speed to Q her opponent once and then just walk away and disengage with W. It feels like her weakness is not where it should be.
And you get 20% max health essentially against your target's like main source of damage. Oh, that's cool.
That was so huge in certain fights that I could sit around and bait people out to get them to think that they could kill me.
It's a less obvious pantheon.
Yeah, and Wrecker would just show up in lane, and I would stay around forever because I knew that if he came up, I could just bait them into trying to commit to a fight, and all I have to do is run up to hit them for whatever, an AP or AD shield.
Just hit them, yeah.
Yeah, you just hit them for a shield that's almost half of your health bar of free damage blocking power. That's awesome.
Did you guys see the post that was on our league where it was entitled "If Riot Released Garen in 2016"?
Yep, I saw that. There's a bunch of those.
Awesome.
If so and so got if Riot released Singed in 2016 and he had his W down on the ground and he popped his ult, he would open a trans-dimensional rift in the map and he'd just teleport to where his W was. It was people basically just adding free passives onto every ability because that seems kind of how champion design is right now.
It's a lot. I mean, look at Garen, and he's really binary and he plays forward. And the time that he was created in the game was pretty binary and straightforward. And they continued to add more and more complexity to the game and more kits, and players have gotten better, right? So they have to.
Look at Amumu, for example. He still is an example of that. You land Band-Aid and press R if you do it right.
So they have to obviously continue to add more. They continue to make champions a little more complex and do that. But like at some point, it does get a little overboard. And I think with Camille, I think that I like how all of her kit works. I think there needs to be some tweaks in some areas. Maybe the shield, maybe what you guys talked about with the slow, or this and that. Like there's a billion different tweaks.
There is a lot of room for improvement with her kit.
I have the fix.
You can increase the cooldown on E. You can decrease her base damage. You can increase some of her mana costs because those are really low.
Her mana costs are very low.
That's it. That thing you can do to completely like put her back into like not an oppressive dueling phase is don't make the second cast of Q free. Make it cost the same 25 mana. Done. The mana costs are so low already.
Then you wouldn't be able to spam it. Like you
can't spam it,
but you wouldn't. Like you'd have to choose when you would spam it or not. And actually, that was one of my first thoughts too, going into like probably my second or third game as her. I was thinking like, man, for some reason, and I don't know why, but I feel like these mana costs should be higher. And I don't know what it is, but I would be completely fine buying a Frozen Heart on her if they change that up.
Sure.
Like you go a regular
or CDR,
build.
why not?
Yeah. I mean, like, I get why people are buying Black Cleaver on her and everything because of the CDR, but ultimately, like, the rest of Black Cleaver is not that good. Health is health, but it's not a lot of damage, and the armor shred she doesn't really need.
No.
Because she's dealing so much true damage, and then on-hit magic damage.
Yep.
It's just
like
that
she doesn't really need that shred.
It's just unfortunate that Sheen, like if they ever nerf something, you'll end up seeing them buy an Iceborne Gauntlet at some point, right? Like if they nerf some of her damage, she'll probably go like a full tank Echo build, like Punch said, and then you'll see the transfer from Trinity Force to Iceborne Gauntlet. Maybe it's just when you have such a high base damage and Sheen works so well with high base damages that it's a no-brainer to just rush that item in some form of another.
I mean, it's not just the fact that Sheen's good though, but the extra attack speed synergizing with the bonus damage she does from her ult is super nice too. Trinity Force is just the perfect item for her right now.
It's so good. Speaking of her ult though,
everything she wants.
Isn't it a little odd that we really didn't touch on her ult very much? We just talked about how powerful the rest of her kit is, and then there's her ult.
Her ult's really, really powerful, but the rest of her kit's
it was
so
like
good.
icing. Yeah. This ult is pretty cool.
Her ult just makes it so that if she runs into a 1v1 against anybody who's squishy, she's killing them and walking away like nothing ever happened, which is cool. But that's
one time we played against her, it was like, oh, the ultimate got cast. Okay, I don't care. They're not casting it on me. I'm the support. I'm just running in there and doing my thing. It was a non-issue as far as I was concerned.
Not to mention you can boot her out of it too and just say see ya.
Did you notice, I went back and watched the replay, in Serial, there was a Yasuo who pressed E on Serial who was standing on the very edge of the ult, and Yasuo got blocked by the edge of the ultimate, but the damage still went off on him, even though Yasuo...
Oh yeah, I died to that.
Yeah.
And that was like a really weird interaction, where the damage of the E, even though it didn't dash, it still went off he got stopped at the edge of the
It was the same thing, it was the same thing that... I ulted a Scion mid charge, and he just ended up charging into the wall as if it was a wall and smacked the ground. And I don't remember if I got CC'd or not, but it's just it's weird, and it's great when you use it and they can't get away. But like there is some weird interactions.
I used it against a Kog'Maw, and it was some AD carry, and he just went around the corner. I'm not going to try to explain where it was, but he just went around the corner of a wall, and I used it on him, and then he got trapped against the wall and the outer edge, so he could not move at all.
Wow.
He was just trapped in this like tiny little spot. Like, well, it sucks to be you. I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah.
Most satisfying time to use it though was against Ahri, because I can't tell you the number of times you try to chase on an Ahri and she ults away, and then she titters at you like, "You gonna kill me? Use my ult." But this
You
time,
sound like me when I play her.
this time, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how every Auri sounds when they use their ult, right?
Oh, we all just do a bunch of voice acting in the middle of playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Not good
Yeah,
voice
weekly
acting, really
meetings.
bad voice acting.
Oh, very, very poor voice
Yeah.
acting.
I make
Mind you.
gunshot noises when I play Jhin, and
I've never heard a single one.
I count in Spanish.
No, you don't. Can you even count in Spanish?
No, yes.
Count to 5 for me in Spanish.
What, uno,
It's
dos,
not important,
tres,
generally
cuatro,
counts to
cinco,
four.
seis, siete, ocho,
All right,
nueve,
you
diez.
did it.
There. Are you happy?
Yeah,
You
you
did it.
Yeah, it's a
called
10.
my
Best.
bluff.
No, I'm not happy because you did more than he asked for. So
Well, fuck
you're an
you.
asshole.
I just can't. Yeah,
You're
well,
an overachiever.
I'm an overachiever. God damn it. Yes, thank you. I do more than what is expected of me because that is what the Trinity Force podcast
don't do
is
enough
about.
gunshot
We give you
noises,
more
'cause I
than you
haven't-
expect. Because
Okay,
your
Adam,
expectations
Adam?
are so low.
Oh no!
Yeah!
That's who we expect, Adam. Because I don't think he's doing more than we expect. I think
like
this
that
is
one.
all exactly what we expect.
There's the slogan there. We give you more than expect because your expectations are already so low.
You know what? I like that. Accurate.
That's I agree. I second that. That's the one that I've liked so far.
Yep.
It's a little clunky, but we'll work on it.
We'll work on it there. Yeah, that was probably better than the rest of them come up with.
Is that's your segue to ending the episode too? I'm sure
That's
Is-
probably it. I mean, we're at the last like 3 or 4 minutes of the episode, and instead of starting another conversation and just jumping in there, we could probably just say, "Here's your 55-minute episode for the week." Sorry, it's not longer.
We got the rant about Camille for 25 minutes. She's fun. She's so fun.
Very fun.
You have
She
He is
she
so
looks fun to play.
she's so fun.
I mean, I won't forget that first game where you had been in top lane just by yourself or with Wrecker for so long, and then all of a sudden you showed up bot, and I couldn't believe how much damage you were doing and how quickly it was happening. But other than that,
was
like
lane.
the one we were up against, I didn't feel like she was oppressive, and the second and third games, I didn't feel like you were out of control. Now, granted, I wasn't going toe to toe with Camille, so it's a very different story for people in that situation. But
It is what it is.
yeah.
Hey guys. By the way, we stream.
Hey.
We stream quite a bit now. I'm not going to say we're not like Cutie Pie where we're streaming every single day, but we're pretty much streaming every single weekend at this point at some point or another.
We've been streaming a lot more.
Yeah, we're
From a bunch of different perspectives, too.
We're that morning stream you should
Yeah.
tune into.
yeah.
Saturday morning cartoons.
with
Yeah,
the
just love the
holidays,
cartoons.
Drop
Just tune in to
cereal in a bowl and turn on your boys at the Trinity Force podcast.
I thought you meant me for a second, and
I did too. I thought you were.
Serial was supposed to stream last Friday, but I think he got drunk instead.
No, there was supposed to be a high school tournament because there's a Facebook group, College of Casters, that I was a part of from my VG days, where they were like, "Hey, we need casters on short notice." I'm like, "I'm not doing anything Friday night," and then they said, "Oh wait, we double booked casters," and I was like, "All right, cool." So didn't need the Twitch stream anymore.
Well,
Sorry.
go check us out, guys.
I know everyone was
YouTube-
looking forward to that.
youtube.com/tforce podcast, because like I said, we release the podcast there every week. We have a couple other series that we are releasing, namely like every time we stream, I'm going to try to cut that up and post that up there, like cool and funny moments. And we got some really good ones from this Monday. Like Sean, I'll give you a little teaser. Do you remember early in the game when Wrecker said, "Hey, I haven't gone back yet, and I really want Race and Wolves now, and I'm going to keep farming and not go back." And then
Yeah.
I have that in there, and I immediately cut to the end of the game where I make a joke about it. About as the game is ending, and I'm like, "I blame our jungler who never went back."
You probably made that joke 6 times throughout that game, too.
No,
Every
I
time
made that
said
once. I
I
literally
blame
made it
our
at the very
jungler who never went back.
Yeah, I made that joke once, but it's the type of shit I'm going to do. I'm like your normal thing. I want to try to cut it up and have fun with it. So yeah, go there. I mean, it's like a 10-minute recap. You can see him playing Camille. You can get some ideas. Chira has a really cool flash play against a Cho'Gath.
That was fun.
Almost
That
called
was
Did
him
you get
Showma.
me saving Mitch? Did you get me saving Mitch?
He does not have it. It was not from his point of view.
Wait, what?
Sean didn't
where
watch
was
it.
That?
He kind of watched it.
Wait, did I? Was it the one in mid?
By blue when Yasuo chased him down
Oh no, I didn't.
and,
get it.
and the guy tried to ult Mitch and I ate him instead.
Nope.
Yep,
Oh,
it was
wait.
very nice. It was.
You
It was.
weren't
It was.
watching
He knocked me up, and during the knockup, you ate me, and so I was like, "Oh, bye."
Sean was watching
ate
the
him.
ward he was
ate
teleporting
him?
to
Okay.
instead of the fight during that. I went and found it, and
I probably wasn't paying. It's honestly, anytime there's downtime, I'm probably checking my phone.
Yeah, Sean.
I'm not even kidding.
There's a lot of times where Sean will just automatically go back to base. You know what really tilts me watching Sean play, and this is how we're going to end the show, is that instead of pressing P to open the store, he always right clicks on the store or left clicks on the store to
So
open
do I.
it.
I do
So
it.
do I.
That fucking
love it.
tilts me to hell and back.
I don't want to press P. Fuck pressing P.
Yeah, I don't.
What's wrong with Pete?
Hey,
I didn't even know P opened the shop.
Adam also forgot to plug our new hit series, Mary and Adam Play, which has an episode of Mario Kart, and that looks like that's about it. So I say new and hit, and it might be just one.
I have.
But it's 13.
I thought you weren't supposed to
I
upload
haven't
that
watched
much.
yet. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not going to.
I
It's
heard there was
very
a
loud.
ratage.
It's very loud. Just turn your volume down because I'm terrible. I'm absolutely awful at Mario Kart. And she's.
Are you guys playing Drunk Mario Kart rules?
No, we were just playing Mario Kart with the computer, not playing online. or
Drinking
anything.
and driving is dangerous.
I actually have
driving.
I actually have a couple other videos to
Mario-
post. There was
Where?
one I'm not allowed to post where we play Mario Party and she gets really mad at the PC because we're just playing just her and I against like the PC, right? So
Have kids. Your kids could be playing this game. These are children's games too. What are you doing?
You
I don't
played
want-
games with Adam. You know that he shouldn't be around children when he's playing games.
Shut up.
Yep.
Shut up, Dom.
I don't want my children on the internet. How's that? I think that's a
Is Mario? Oh, I'm sorry. I
Nintendo
forgot
internet?
Mario Party on the local area network means the internet.
well, no. If I stream and record it, they are now on the internet.
Oh, that makes more sense. Got it. Okay. I'll give you a little bit of props there. But hey, fun rules for people who play drinking and driving Mario Kart. If you hit a banana, you have to take a shot of 99 bananas. We did that last time. It
Oh,
didn't
God.
go great for people.
I drank so
I
many
liked it.
99 banana shots. All right, guys. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TForce Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for supporting us. Patreon.com/TForce Network. TrinityForceNetwork.com. Version 3.0 is headed out here very shortly. We're getting that up on stage, fixing some bugs, and throwing it out there. It is going to be a very big community site. You guys will like it quite a bit, I hope. Cross my fingers. And that's it, guys. That's the episode for this week. We will be back next week with 2 episodes, and the week after that, we will only have 1 episode because the week after that is
Christmas.
New Year's. Well, next week.
New Year's.
Well, yeah.
Whatever.
Because
Wait, what?
There's holiday stuff going on.
No, it's the day after Christmas is one of the Mondays.
Yep.
So I assume that's the day we're not going to have an episode.
right, there's that, and then the week after that, we probably only have 2 episodes. One after Christmas and one after New Year's. We'll probably only have 1 episode each of those week.
Okay. I mean, we could probably.
We'll stream or something. I'm sure some of us will be around. So, see ya.
At
Hey, guys.